All right, everybody. It is on screen, off screen, back with another episode. We've got Lauren from her grandparents' house with that great watering machine right behind her. It looks good. And then we got Josh wearing a snazzy pair of headphones, and he's about to lose March Madness bracket bad, and I'm gonna win. Yeah. So we're gonna start this episode with a shared topic with me and Josh. Slay the Spire 2. I've kind of given my rough thoughts on my base impressions of the game. What are your base thoughts about it, Josh?
So I did not like the first one, and I still don't like the first one. I even went back and replayed the first one. I do not enjoy it at all.
Okay.
Um, but basically, it was $20, and Conlon was like, "And it's multiplayer, and I'm really excited on getting to see how that works and everything." And so I was like, I'll just get it. I don't get to play games with Conlon very much, but I felt like if I got the second one and it was multiplayer, I would have an opportunity to play with him, even if it's a game that I don't necessarily love very much, because these games are card roguelikes are rarely good. I kind of like Blotro, but once I stopped playing it, I kind of just like stopped playing it entirely.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, that's why I got it. And I was originally like, I'm gonna put some time into it. I'm gonna kind of figure it out. And then I would surprise Conlon during this record by saying that I got it. Um, but that didn't end up working out simply because we ended up playing it together like the very next day because I spent all day playing it. I got it. I literally stayed up till like 4 o'clock in the morning playing it, and then I was like, okay, I should go to bed, and then hopped on, and then my friend Josh messaged me, and he was like, "This game's awesome," and so he, Josh Conlon, and I all hopped on and played together, and then the next day. Um, Josh and I played a few rounds together, and then I lost power, and then came back, and then lost power again. So this may and will probably be the only time that I have more hours in this game than Conlon, simply because for the last 4 days, all I've had to do was sit on my Steam Deck and play Slay the Spire 2.
I was wondering because like every time like your name popped up on my computer, I was like Slay the Spire too. So when you were like kind of going off about like kind of teasing that you didn't like it, I was like, that can't be true.
No, no. I do. I absolutely love the second one. Um, I think they did do enough to make it playable. Honestly, that's how I would put it. Um, I do wish that there was a couple of tweaks in the name of balancing. Um, so if you go to a rest site and you choose to rest and heal your HP of your character, you only get a third of your HP, and that would be fine. But what you're choosing between is healing a third of your HP or upgrading a card. And upgrading a card is so much more valuable that you get these in these spots where I'm like, is 20 HP enough? I really want to upgrade that card, and I think that that's dumb. I think that it should really be like if you're gonna sacrifice upgrading a card, you should have full health for resting. Um,
I don't think it should be full health, but I agree. I actually thought about it when you said that when we are playing. I'm like, it should be up a little bit more than it is. I don't think it should be full, but if they bumped it to like 40%, I'd feel pretty good about that, to be honest.
I think it should be full health. I think it also depends on which character you're running. Because, like,
That's
if
true.
you're playing the Necromancer, I often just go, 20 HP, whatever. Because you basically have Otzi, the shield, that is play, um, stays
A meat
between
stick.
rounds. Yeah. So he can take those hits for me. But when you're playing, I forgot what he is, the last one on the grid.
The defect
The
or deflect. No, what is his name?
I think it's
He's even in the first one.
deflect. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
he basically is like upgrading a card is incredibly valuable for him. At least one card.
Super.
And he has a bunch of defense stuff, but like when his health gets low, it's so hard to get it back up or try and maintain it. So you basically get into these situations where you're utterly screwed because the enemy boss or elite is going to do 50 damage in one hit, and all I drew was 5 block.
Defense.
So yeah, there's some balancing things that I think need to be worked out. There are no new characters, which is weird for a sequel. I think that they should.
The Necrobinder's new.
No, he's not. I have it on my phone right now.
What?
It's on the phone version. So I think they should add some more characters. I think that would be very cool. I think that they should work out some balancing. And I would love a mode with persistence turned on. So turn by turn and between rounds. So if I end a fight with like a 25 HP Otzi, I should start the next fight with a 25 HP Otzi.
That would be cool.
But if I end the round with like poison or doom applied to myself, or
that stays too.
That stays too. Cool. So I think that there should be a I like how it currently is, but like a separate version where that happens. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I am really liking it. I think multiplayer is 100% the way to play this game. I would not have played it that much had I had many other options, but I had no power, so I literally just had my Steam Deck. So it was like, I can play this. I can play Lego Harry Potter. Not much else.
Lego Harry Potter. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad you had it.
So
that's cool, man. I love this game. I like it more and more the more I play it. I have played this with 3 separate groups of friends. We did a group where we played, I don't know, how many rounds did we play, Josh, that night? 5, 6, maybe?
I don't know. Because I think that there was only 2 that went into the 3rd level.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of tinkering. My other criticism in the name of balance is when you're playing with multiple people, I feel like there is very clearly a best way to play. And that's having, well, if there's 2 of us, you want one Necrobinder and either one deflect and one of the poison guys.
The silent.
Yeah. If there's 3 of you, you want 2 Necrobinders and a silence. If there are 4 of you, you want 2 Necrobinder, a silenced, and the first one, whatever he's called. It just seems so clearly the best way to do it. Yeah. And it's like, I wish there was a little bit more diversity in strategy in that way, but hopefully they do some tweaks and work some of these things out.
I think some of the bosses need a little bit of a tweak, but they tweaked the first game quite a bit when it came out, so I think they'll tweak this one. But like the well thing that explodes at the end, especially where if you're in the group, it just has so much health that you can't get it down before it has like 39 explosion and you guys are just screwed. And that sucks. Like that needs to be tweaked. I think the snake guys that get a shield every single time you hit them, when they have so much health, it's very, very, very hard to kill them when you're in a large group. Like last time I played with this guy who's a savant with this game. It's ridiculous. I was playing Ironclad We all just played random. He was playing defect, and my one buddy was playing the regent. Which so far the regent seems like the worst character to me, but I'm trying him. This guy was like telling me how to exactly build my deck to make it more effective, and he was telling me what cards were the best cards and what they did, and reading it off by memory. And I was like, "How the hell are you doing this?" And we wrecked that round. But it still was a big struggle with the snake guys, even though he was absolutely OP as the defect. Destroyed. I didn't even really need. By the end of the game, I didn't even need to be there. He just won. Um, and I think some of that should be tweaked a little bit because some of it is just it's too hard with the extra health levels.
Yeah, it's too hard with the extra health levels. It also it's not fair, especially when there are multiple enemies, because we hit one enemy with quadruple health and they hit everyone
With the same amount of health.
with the same amount of damage. And it's like, if I can only do damage to one person per turn, it should only, and whether it's randomized or it targets healers first or whatever the situation may be,
It should
it
be because like you
should
have the
be
cards.
equal as if you're playing one on one.
They have the cards that let you hit all the enemy forces at once. It should be a thing like that where you have certain attacks that hit everybody, but it's not every single attack. I think that would be a better balance. Um, yeah, I'm very, 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 very happy with this game. I cannot wait for mods. It's gonna be absolutely awesome. And I'm really good. What's your rating on the game?
I think I'm gonna give the first one. I'll give my rating on that one. I'm gonna give it a 4 because I
Okay.
do think it has all of the same weaknesses and less content and uglier and less playable. And I'm going to give the second one an 8, just a
That's a
solid
big jump.
8. Um,
What what were the big changes that worked better for you?
Multiplayer.
What about single player? Like if you did single player match to match, what would you do the ratings then?
I would bump the second one down to like a 6, maybe.
Okay, so still enjoyable, but like I played that one so well.
Yeah. Um, like, oh yeah, it was good to have because I had a power outage and it's not an intense game, so I was able to play all day on my Steam Deck without needing a recharge. Like, cool. But multiplayer really amps this up. It feels more intense. I've played, even though I only had it for like 2 days, I was able to play with just Conlon. I was able to play with Conlon and Josh, and then I was able to play with Josh and a couple of his friends. And every single time, it's not a game where we're all just like, like when Colin and I play this game Gloomhaven, what ends up happening is it's so min maxy. We just sit there and we go, okay, gotta pick this card and this card. We're not really talking. We're just thinking things through. And then I sit there and I wait for Conlon because he's way more into the min maxy thing. So he's trying to like absolutely perfect his each and every turn. So I just kind of sit there.
Yeah, a lot.
But when I've played this game, we're all sitting around, we're joking a little bit. We're talking about like, oh, we had a guy when I was playing with Josh and his friends. He was playing Necrobinder.
Mm-hmm.
He got the card that says deal as much uh, damage as they have Doom plus or whatever, and so
That
he was
card's
doing
ridiculous.
like massive amounts of damage. So we were just like, oh my gosh, and like he's totally carrying and the only reason we got defeated by that is the stupid explosion well guy.
Oh, freaking well guy.
Yeah.
Screw the well guy.
Um. So yeah, like I love board games that are cooperative because they instigate communication. And this one, we're just talking about it. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
if I'm ironclad, everybody needs to wait for him to do his damage because he can apply weak to the enemies. So we all just need to wait and we call it out and take our turns and talk about different strategies or cards or different things. And I did a run with Josh where I was the necrobinder and he was the ironclad, and the first half I was absolutely carrying him, and the second half I didn't even need to be there. Like, legitimately, it would
He
take him 2 rounds to destroy any enemy that we came across, and that is the only time I've beat the final boss.
Final boss. And he was the necrobinder, or you were?
I was the necrobinder, he was ironclad.
Weird. I feel like necrobinder does better when you get later into the game.
Uh, kind of, but Ironclad has the body slam, and he would just build up tons of shield. Like, the highest I saw him get in a single turn was 104.
That's insanity.
Yeah. So literally the final boss was 3 rounds and he body slammed the final boss 3 times. And I was like, I'm just fighting to survive here. I'm using all of my blocks just to try and stay in this. And he's just like, body slam. Boom.
Boom.
Um, it's a really good game. Lauren, I do think that you would have fun with
That was
a
going to be
group,
my next question.
but I don't think that this is going to be a solo experience that you would get into.
Lauren, would you get it and we all three of us could play? I would 100% be down for that if you get it.
I might try it.
Okay, try it with one of our accounts first. Like, try it with mine, play with Josh, and if you are down, get it, and all three of us will play because that'd be so much fun.
But we all know where my loyalties lie. I've been on Hogwarts for forever.
Oh, I see. I was like, I don't know what that means.
It means like it's so funny because like I've been playing like games with friends and stuff, uh, here and there when people ask and stuff. Because like I feel like I used to be the instigator of trying to get people to play games with me, and now I'm just like, you have to ask.
I've got Hogwarts Legacy to do, guys. Come on, get out of the way.
you're you're encroaching on my legacy time.
You have exactly 23 minutes and 60 seconds. 24 minutes. That's what I'm at. 24. Cool. I love this game. I'm giving it an 8.5. I do think there are some things that need to be shifted, and it could make the score go up, but it's great. With that, let's go to Lauren's topic. What do you got?
I have Night and Day. This is my favorite Tom Cruise movie. This is also another one of those, like, he's not a bad guy, but like he's like a very charming uh, agent, I guess. Um, whereas like it's not a character that you'd think is being like this spy type character. Uh, and I just really like how like upbeat he is of like trying not um anybody who hasn't seen this movie, it's about like this girl who kind of gets like sucked into kind of like a James Bond type deal, and the James Bond character, Tom Cruise, is like trying to keep her safe, but she keeps like freaking out, and he's like there's one spot where he's like, I asked you not to freak out and you freaked out. And it's like there's like guns going off and everything. He's like, okay, I can see how this is like a little overwhelming. There's like just bullets spraying everywhere. Um, yeah, I think it's really charming and fun, and it's a movie that I feel like whatever mood I'm in, I could watch. So like if I want an action movie, it hits the action. If I want something that's more like kind of romanticy, this romanticy, not that's a different category. Romantic. This also hits that little itch. It's funny. Uh, yeah, I love the way that he handles things, and I think it was really funny because like me and my mom quote it to each other all the time. And there's this one part where he's like, if they ever tell you that you're safe and secure, they're going to kill you. And he's like, don't get into anybody's car. And like immediately after she like leaves him, she gets in somebody's car and they're like, we're gonna make sure you're safe and secure. And she's like, ah, crap. um, and so like it was funny because today I was going somewhere. I was taking my mom to the airport, and I was like, make sure that if anybody says that you're safe and secure, they're going to kill you. Because she was going through airport security, and she's like, thanks. Um, yeah, I find this movie very charming, um, and I like all the actors that are like I think all the actors do a good job in this, and I like the fact that like it's a movie that my mom loves and that like everybody in my family likes, and yeah, I can watch it in any mood. So, yeah, I would
I
give
love that.
it a 9.
That's cool. I think it's a great movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. It's probably my favorite Cameron Diaz live action movie. It's not my favorite Tom Cruise movie, but I think it might be my favorite Cameron. Either that or What Happens in Vegas.
Because like
Kind of a hard choice.
if I think that this is Tom Cruise's best movie, no, but it's my favorite Tom Cruise movie.
I
So
love that.
yeah,
It's wildly entertaining. There's a lot of like good. I haven't seen it in a long time, but there's a lot of good lines. Like I love that joke where he puts her in the bathing suit and then she puts him in the bathing suit at the end. Like it's very charming. They did a
yeah,
good job of making them feel authentic as they were going throughout the movie. I
yeah,
think the cinematography and the scenes in which they are taking place in the movie are gorgeous. It's just beautiful places. The
and
action's really good.
there is something like that I hate of like a trope where they keep knocking the person out and so that it's like lazy or whatever. They do this in this movie, but in a like a good way, which
Yeah,
is like really funny because like he keeps having to knock her out because she freaks out too much, but you get like little blurry bits of like what's going on and it's hilarious because like
it's
she gets
very
knocked
funny.
out, she like wakes up, he's dangling upside down swinging, and then she like knocks back out, is back awake, and he's like carrying her, like taking care of people, and she's like, "What the heck?" Gets knocked back out. Then they're on a helicopter. Then she wakes up on a beach in a bikini, and she's like, "How did I? How?"
How'd I get-
it's it's very good. Yeah,
it's very good. And there's not a lot of movies that are like this, like romance, action, adventure thing. That
humor. Yeah,
yeah, it's a weird blend. Do you like This Is War too? That's another one that I feel like is similar.
I don't think I've seen that, but
You should watch
if
it.
it's similar, I want to.
Yeah, it's got. Let me look it up. I think it's Legally Blonde Girl.
Mm.
There's more.
Reese Witherspoon, Reese without
Yeah,
her spoon.
isn't that what it's called? Dang it, that might be not what it's called. 1 second. I will find it. I think I said the wrong name. Uh, 1 second.
Pause, everybody.
Are you talking about the one with Gerard Butler?
Yeah. This Means War?
This Means War, I think is this. There's also Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
I
I weirdly don't like that one, and I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I was gonna
It's
say
the
that one's
same
okay.
movie, but different
Yeah,
jokes, different
it's
kind of thing. I think Night and Day is also better, but
This Means War is what it is. Chris Pine, Tom Hardy, and Reese Witherspoon.
Oh,
And I think it's a lot of fun. I really like this movie, actually.
I'll have to look that up. This means war.
This Means War. It's very charming. It's a love triangle movie. Like they're both trying to impress the girl. They're both secret agents, but it's a lot of fun.
I have it on my Prime, so you can log in and watch it.
Do you like them? Do you like it, Josh? You
I
kind
think
of
it's
seem
the
like
best one.
okay.
I think it's This Means War, Night and Day,
Not good.
then the Angelina Jolie Brad Pitt one.
Cool. Yeah, give it a shot. I think you like it. Sweet. And you already gave your rating. We are good to go. Everybody watch this movie. It is very charming, and it's unlike a lot of other shows. With that, let's go to my next thing. Project Hail Mary. Everyone should read this book. Everybody. If you're not a sci-fi person, don't care. You should read this book. If you do you like cute little creatures, you should read this book. Do you like space? You should read this book. You like good characters? You should read this book. You like interesting ideas that are distilled in a way that you can just relate to them, but they're not so complex. You're like, this is completely over my head. You should read this book. Do you like detailed, like you can visually see what is going on in each scenario? You should read this book. You like a charming main character? You should read this book. I can't see anybody that would not like this book, genuinely, truly, even if this isn't your thing. Lauren, you should absolutely 100% read this book.
I'm trying to figure out how to listen to it.
Yeah, you can log into my Audible if you want, like 100%.
I'm just gonna pirate everybody.
Sweet, Dill, love it. It's very good. And I don't really have a lot of weaknesses for it. This could be a top 10 book for me too, to be completely honest. And I actually love the ending. That's what I was going to bring up because Josh wasn't super thrilled with it. And without giving, I don't know if you can go into it without spoilers. Why didn't you like it, Josh?
I don't love the maybe I will, maybe I won't ending.
Okay.
I feel like our characters deserve closure,
Okay.
and there is none. It's 100% ends with maybe I'll go home, maybe
Maybe
I
I'll go
won't.
back.
Two, I get
What
that
does that mean when you're done with spoilers?
uh, he decides to do the same thing he was doing on Earth on the alien planet, and I was like, come on.
I thought that
And
was
it's
perfect.
a science thing, and like there's so much more gravity on this other planet, and he's just like, yeah, it's fine. I'm like, that would not be fine. You would not
It's
just be
wearing out his
okay.
body.
He's
I didn't look into it that much, but I actually had a question about this. Do you know, would it make him stronger? Like, would he adapt?
kind of, but here's the thing: he spent over 10 years in space.
Mhm.
So his muscles and his bones would have atrophied. And then he went to a planet with, I think it was a little over 2 times the gravity. So how much do you weigh, Conlon?
I weigh 230.
Okay. Now you weigh 460.
That's major.
So yes, his muscles would compensate, but he's an older guy, so his bones would not be supporting that. It Even if it would support it after being in space that long, he definitely would have like it would have been a miserable experience, absolutely miserable. And the whole reason he justifies it is like, I don't have any friends back on Earth, so wah, this is fine. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Dimitri is on Earth, and I love that man so much.
So do I.
What are you
So do
talking
I.
about? You don't have any friends. And like the whole reason you went on this trip is like your Earth students and like wanting to build them a better future. And you're just like, we'll wait and see, we'll wait for Earth's sun's light to get to us to see if there's any different. What are you talking about, dude? Like, you have this big push at the end to like, maybe I can get home, and then have it end with just like, yeah, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Yeah, whatever. I'm like, you would
I
care.
get where you're coming from,
You would
to be
care.
honest. I get it, but I think that enough time passed before he was in a position where he could go home because they had to the alien creatures had to develop some more technology for him to be
Five
able to get
years.
back home. Um, so he's started teaching these other students, and the thing that made him, when every single time he had a sacrifice where he had to push through a boundary, like an emotional boundary, a thought boundary, he would think about his students and he would push through. Now he has some new students, so he's gotten that need fulfilled in this new place. So it didn't bug me as much. I actually thought it was really cool.
I, I'm not mad that he went to the rock planet. I'm not mad that he decided to teach on the rock planet.
It's the
It's the
maybe I'll go
maybe
home.
I will, maybe I won't. And I'm like, no, you are a scientist. You would want to share this alien race with
With
humans.
everybody.
You would say, hey, Rocky, come with me, spend the rest of my
I
life
agree with
with
that.
me on Earth, and then come back to your planet and maybe bring a different human because you live 4 times longer than I do. Like,
I actually
he
think
just doesn't care at the end after spending the whole book caring.
I think he actually would bring a whole like convoy of
I think he would too. I think he would be like, hey,
to
who
Earth,
wants to come to Earth, right? And I think one of them would be
and a lot of people
Rocky,
would be
right?
like, "Yeah,
It's just the
yeah,
whole
that's
not
fair."
caring. The whole book he cares. The last
Until the end,
2 minutes he just whatever. I don't know. Whatever. I don't have any friends anyway. Meh.
whatever. I'll just stay with Rocky.
Like no,
That's fair.
go.
That's fair.
Yeah. So that's why I didn't like it.
Okay, cool. And what rating did you give again? I can't remember
Let's pull it up.
because I'm giving it a nine
I didn't
point
do it.
two.
Oh, right there. I gave it a 9.9.
That's really good. Yeah. I'm a 9.2 for now, but honestly, on a re-rate, it could go up a little bit.
I think this is easily a top 10 book for me, so that's why I did it. And
Very
though
good.
I only gave it minus point 0.1 because the end. Everything else in this
Oh,
book is so freaking good. It's
it's so good,
scientific but captivating. I got to sit there and
which is
be all
so
snooty
hard
and
to
be
do.
like, actually, without some of their science stuff, I had such a
And
great
the
time with it.
way they explained learning each other's language was so well thought out. I was
Oh, so good.
so impressed with that.
Absolutely.
So impressed.
Yeah.
I am. Lauren, come back.
Waved at me.
Lauren is back. I'm. I gave it a 9.2. I love this book. You should read it. I am going on Tuesday to see the movie, and I am beyond hyped. I am so hyped for this movie.
I'm not.
Um,
I'm not looking forward to the movie at all.
I am so excited, and literally, I've heard no reviews that are bad. None. All the reviews are glowing.
I've
Should
already
I
seen
read the
enough to
book
hate it.
first?
Yeah.
Or should I watch the movie, enjoy it, and then read the book?
You should
I
read the book
I
first
would read the
because
book first.
the book is fantastic. It's so freaking good.
Yeah, yeah. And
Word.
I think I don't know. I've listened to reviewers that have read the book, and they're like, it's great. I've listened to reviewers who haven't read the book, and they're like, it's great. I am very excited, and I hope that whatever Josh has seen that makes him. I don't want to know Josh. I actually don't want to know. I'll ask you next week. But whatever you've seen, I hope is wrong because I'm very excited. Anyway, guys, that's that topic. Let's go to our next one. Josh, what book do you got?
All right. So for my next topic, I have gotten back into Harry Potter. I listened to the Goblet of Fire, the um, full cast version. This was my most anticipated Harry Potter book, simply because I think so lowly of the movie. There's nowhere for it to go but up. So my movie ranking is a 4 out of 10. I don't like the fourth movie. I think it sucks. Um, in the
I'm
book, Harry
partial on that.
Potter himself is way better because in the movie, I actually thought about doing this thing with you guys like, hey, can you tell me which one's Harry Potter and which one's not? And one was going to be a little girl saying, I didn't do it. And another one was going to be Harry Potter saying, I didn't do it. Because that's all he says in the movie for like the first half. It's like, I didn't put my name in the Goblet of Fire. Like he says it over and over again, and I'm like, shut up, you whiny little bitch. Like, and in this one, he says it to Ron one time, and the rest of the time, he's like, I don't know how my name got on the Goblet of Fire, and I'm like, in when you watch the movie, you're like, if you were that opposed to it, you just wouldn't compete. they're not going to force you to go fight a dragon. That would be insane. But in this one, he's like, oh, it kind of gives you the feeling of like he's telling people like he didn't put his name in the goblet, but he actually does kind of want to compete in it. So Harry Potter himself, way better in the book. Unfortunately, everything else is worse in the book. I think
Worse?
Cedric is worse in the book. I think
Whoa.
Hermione is worse in the book. I think it's so sad to think that Cedric's death is more impactful in the movie than in the book. Um, all I like, it's so like in the book they justify slavery. Do you remember that time when J.K. Rowling justified slavery? Yeah, it happened in this book. Um,
Where? I don't remember this at
with the
all.
elves. Hermione gets all gung hoey and like, I'm gonna stop the elves from being slaves. And basically, the argument is they like being slaves. Shut up, Hermione. And nobody actually talks to them till the end. And the end is like, yeah, we just don't know a better life, so we'd rather stay where we are. And I'm like, that doesn't mean they like being slaves. What is this justification? This
It's
is
like
insane.
you can free them and employ them if they like.
Yes. Like, what are we talking about? You just justified slavery by saying they like being slaves. No, shut up and don't talk about it. And like, I was under the impression that there was like this war between wizards and elves. I don't know where I got this from, but like a long time ago, there was this war, and basically, elves were
Hogwarts
deemed
Legacy,
to
probably.
be too powerful because they don't need wands. They can evaporate in and out of places that are supposed to be blocked, basically. So they had to be restricted magically. That's what I thought was going on. But no, it's like they like being slaves, so we're just gonna let them be slaves. And I'm like, what? This is insane. This is an insane thing to have in a children's book where they just blatantly justify slavery. And the only person who's opposed to it is Hermione. Like Harry Potter, a person who grew up a muggle life, is just like, yeah, that's fine. Hagrid says they like being slaves, so I'm not even gonna bring it up. What are we talking about? This is. How does nobody else care about this? I've never heard anybody talk about this ever when talking
I
about
haven't
the
either.
books.
Even people who don't like the series, I've never heard that
This
take
is
ever.
Hermione's whole plot in the fourth book. And either I'm like, shut up, Hermione, leave it be, and let us kind of forget as readers. But she brings it up all the time. She starts a club. She starts a newspaper. She does like so
Doesn't
much
she
to try
start a
and end the
knitting club?
slavery. What?
Doesn't she start a knitting club to give them clothes to free them?
Yeah. Yeah. She's
Yeah.
doing all of these things. And then at the end of the book, she's like, I guess it's okay because Pinky decided she wanted to be a slave. Oh my gosh, this gives
My
me a headache.
my memory of this was that Hermione was freeing them, but they just chose to stay.
No,
That
she
was
didn't
That's
mine
not what
free
too.
a
happened.
single one of them. She didn't do anything. She didn't do shit. She just cried a lot the whole book about it. That's all that happened. Not a single elf was free at the end of the book that wasn't free at the beginning of the book. Um, so yeah, I can confidently give my review of the fourth book in one single word, and that word is excruciating. Uh, it was a horrible, horrible, horrible experience.
How did you like James McAvoy as Mad Eye Moody?
Um, I really love the casting of all of these. The hardest one for me to get over was House
Dumbledore?
playing Dumbledore. Just because I know his voice so much as House, I've seen House beginning to end at least three times, maybe two or three times. Like, so that was the hardest one. I think everybody else in the cast does a fantastic job. Dobby and Pinky are total standouts. This one, Mad Eye's great. Um, Honestly, at the end of it, I think that there's a pretty even trade off between the movie and the book that I would be a similar rating, except for some factors that are not necessarily the book itself. So I don't know how I got it, but I got a 5.1 channel version, which means it was built for surround sound. So there's the positive side, like, hey, that's pretty cool that they did that. And then there's the other side of, who is this product for? How could I accidentally pay money for a 5.1 surround sound version of this book? And now, what that means in practice is they had somebody talking on the far right corner of my car so often I could barely hear it. And then it would pop in really loud. So, for example, there's a whole scene where they're going through the sorting ceremony, and I forgot which character it was, has a sibling that is getting sorted. So, what you hear is whisper, 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 whisper. Gryffindor! And you're like, what the is
I
this
apologize
experience?
for listening.
What is this crap? So that's my first big complaint about it. The second big complaint is they went way overboard with like sound effects. So I was listening at 1.7 speed, and I clocked the longest one I actually paid attention to was over 5 minutes of of just sound of footsteps. And I'm like, if I didn't watch the movie, I would have no freaking idea what the hell is even going on right now. So like,
I remember listening with you to like the second one, and like Malfoy and his goons are always like giggling.
yeah,
Make me laugh so hard because you do have it sped up, so it's like.
yeah, yeah. Like it's never been a problem until this book. The whole book is like 22 hours. And I bet if you cut down the just amount of just uh, sound effects, if you cut them down to like 30 seconds real time max, it would be like a 15-hour book. There was so many times it would just be sound effect, sound effect, sound effect. And then it would play orchestra music to tell you you were going into a new scene. And then it would start with more sound effects. And I'm just sitting there like with ADHD, like, what the hell is even going on? Oh, somebody's talking. Okay, that's where we're at.
Mm.
It is such a bad, poor decision to have recorded this way. I don't know who is going to put their audiobook on surround sound system so that you can hear where all the footsteps go. Like, yeah, that's kind of cool that they did that, but like that product is for nobody. Everybody I know who's going to listen to an audiobook is going to use earphones or just a speaker. They're not going to sit in their living room with their surround sound. Like, isn't this so immersive? No, you just watch the movie at that point. I hated this. I absolutely hated this experience. I really hope that book five they realize maybe that wasn't the best idea. Maybe we need more contextual clues than somebody breathing and growling and footsteps and whatever. And yeah, um, just a terrible choice all around with how they decided to record this fourth book. And it's mind boggling that they decided to do it after doing such a good job with the first three. So, um, I'm going to give the audiobook version that I listened to a 1 out of 10 because it is the worst listening experience I've ever had to sit through.
and it's not so bad that it like ruins your wanting to even finish.
Because the first three were recorded well, like honestly, if they had just cut down the amount of time that I was just listening to sound effects, I would be like, well, Harry's better, Cedric is worse. They do Dobby a little bit better. They introduce Pinky, which is kind of cool. I'd be sitting here making these justifications. And while the first three, I was like, it's the same rating because it's basically a perfect screen adaptation. Uh, this one, it would be more like there's pros and cons to both, so it'd probably end up about the same. But like, even if you didn't get the 5.1 audio channel one that I got for some reason, you would still have excruciatingly long sound effects.
Walking,
I mean, think about that. 5 minutes at
it's awful.
1.7 speed. So that scene is actually like 8, 9 minutes, however long that actually
Even
ends up.
even 5 minutes at normal speed is way too long for that. Way too long.
Yeah.
That should be like 30 seconds. That's it.
Yeah. So it's just they made some poor decisions with this one, but the first three were good. I thought the fourth one would also go up because this is when the movies were coming out in line with the books, so they had less time to like work together. So I figured there would be more of a divergence, but Cedric is still Cedric. I still don't care, and in the book they don't care really either. Um, it's the same plot. Everything follows the same story. They do a really good job adapting it. They're like the movie. They definitely did David Tennant's character dirty because he's so much more compelling in the book. Um, like there's a scene where not Mad Eye, he turns back into whoever his real name is, and he gives this like insane monologue about how he's gonna think he's Voldemort's new top dog, right? And I was so compelled at that part, but that was the only part of the book that I was actually drawn into instead of suffering through. So it's like it's totally like I would have loved to see David Tennant give that monologue. I think he would have killed it, but I didn't get to, so it kind of
Yeah.
sucks.
Barty Crouch Jr.
Yeah.
Junior.
Yeah. Well,
Barty
I'm
Crouch.
sorry, man. I'm sorry that that was miserable. Let's go to something that I really hope was less miserable for you guys because I really like this movie. The greatest beer run ever. I guess I can give my thoughts. I've talked about it before, but this is definitely an anti-war movie for sure. It was very effective to me. It felt um, like it was written with that in mind, but written well enough to come across authentically with the characters that we're following instead of coming across like preachy or cheesy. And that worked for me. I had some good laughs with it. I think Zach Efron is fantastic in this movie. I'd be just blended into the character. I believed it the entire time. I felt the emotions when he's dealing with the hardships of war, and the hardships of war are presented well in this overall pretty lighthearted. Like he's a chum, he's a happy guy, he's that guy that goes to the bar person, but it's got the darker aspects to it. I love when he goes home and his projected perspective on life is completely changed because he's actually gone through something. It's not just whatever. I just come. Like he actually went through something, and it still didn't feel like it was overly preachy to me. It just felt like, oh, he saw stuff. He grew, and sometimes that's what you need to do in life. It's just get out there, experience new things, and grow. I very much enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed this movie a second time. I think it's quite good. I think it's underrated. What? Let's start with Lauren. What did you think?
I enjoyed this movie. Um, this is like war movies usually are a miss for me unless it's like um because I don't, there's a lot of times that I feel like it glorifies like the horror of it all where I think this one shows it in a unique way, where you're like following this character as he's discovering like the actual horrors of things instead of people being like, let's show you all the gory bits of everybody's like getting exploded everywhere. It's him being like, he makes himself, he gets into the position where the US thinks that he's CIA. And so he gets further into the battlefield than he should. And there's this one point where he is like, yeah, call so and so in here so that he needs to be here now. And so like they pull him out of like a war zone, like bullets are flying. This guy's like dodging to make it in there, like literally risking his life to come in for his friend to like pop up and be like, I have a beer for you. um, and then when he's like, nope, you're with me, we're going back through there. He's like, what? He's like, this is what you chose. Um, and then for him to actually be like, oh, this is what this is. And then like, I really like the perspective that this movie took um, on war, and like you said, it's I think you mentioned that it's anti-war, uh, and I think this is it presents as well because like it shows him like standing up for everything. He's like, no, this like we have to stand up for this because that's who we are. Like just blatant, um, blind, I think, patriotism, where he's like, just say yes because that's what we are. And it then goes to show that he's still patriotic, but he understands how things are working. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand about like patriotism is that you can be patriotic and want things to change. You don't have to be patriotic and blindly follow everything that anybody ever says just because it's in the name of your country. Um, and so I liked the themes that they weren't shoved down your throat. And then I liked when the one guy was like, don't worry about your friend. Some people are too dumb to die. I was like, yeah, that sums up this character a lot. Um, and then he makes like a friend in Vietnam. And he's like, yeah, come visit me in New York. And I was like, you're not going to make it. And I was correct. um, but
Did it
yeah,
make you cry?
I weirdly I didn't cry at that. I was just like, but I was sad. I was like, dang it, they could never live. um, but yeah, I like how he like gets caught up with the journalists and stuff, and like how he's like, we need to like send like the actual things to. He's like, we don't hear any of this, or like how he got so far in. And he comes back and he's like, there's no ceasefire. What are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, we've had ceasefire for like 3 days. So it's like an interesting show of like how information is spread as well. Um,
I agree.
yeah.
I didn't actually talk about that part, but that part's really interesting. The journalists were just trying to do the best that they could. And it shows the complexity of the situation that they're in too. And
Mhm.
something I didn't mention, but I really like a lot of Vietnam stuff is anti-war, but it becomes anti-person who went to war. And this movie never felt like the anti-person; it felt like anti-situation, which makes it feel a lot more like you can relate to it regardless of what your political beliefs are, because it's anti all of the all of this bad stuff that's happening, not anti the person who just like grew up in the South and he felt like it was his patriotic duty to go. It
Mhm.
made it a lot more palatable, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. And like it is awful. Like the protesters that are protesting, they do attack personally. Um, which I mean, I remember some veterinarians come to my school and them. Did I say veterinarians? Veterans. My goodness.
Those veterinarians
They saw
protest the
some. They
veterinarians.
saw some stuff. The veterans came to my school and like explained how like how hard it was to come home and not be like welcomed back. He's like they it's hard for it sucks. And I do like how this movie was anti situation, not anti person. You're correct. That
What was
was
your
good. 9 is my rating.
nine? That's a good rating.
Hmm.
All right, Josh. What
What
did you
was
think?
yours, Conlon?
Ah, man, what did I give it the first time? I don't remember what I got it the first time. I'm giving it an 8.7. I really like this movie. I think it's really good.
So for me, I'm going to start with my positive notes, which is basically saying the same thing that my two co-hosts here said, just in a different way. I think what works out really well for this movie is our main character doesn't really understand the situation. He goes in, he discovers the situation, and at the end of the movie, he doesn't say, well, this is the conclusion you're supposed to come to because of this situation. We, as an audience, as well as him as an individual, get to come to our own conclusion based on what we saw. That's what I think works out really well for this movie. Now, for my negatives, the historian in me has some problems. Um, and I think the biggest problem is there is no counter argument to the anti war. It is an anti war movie. The conclusion we're
Absolutely.
supposed to come to is the war was bad. We can
That's fair.
think, it personal, not personal. We just had that conversation. It's definitely not personal towards the soldier, but can you name any soldier in the movie who felt like they had purpose or knew what they were
No,
fighting for or had any kind of argument of what they were fighting against or why they were there in the first place? It's never even
definitely
stated.
doesn't present that at all.
So there
Not even a
is
little bit.
no counter argument on the other side. Um,
That's fair.
and so the historian in me is like, that's not how it was. Like a lot of young men coming off the tail of World War II and Korea were like, it's my duty to go and be a hero like my dad was, you know,
Or grandpa or whatever.
or grandpa or whatever. And then that culture shock of coming back and seeing how their parent or grandparent or uncle or family friend or whoever was celebrated because they went and defeated evil, to come back thinking they defeated evil and just be utterly crapped on by the American people. Um, so that part of me is like, I really wish this movie had at least one person who was the counter argument, who was there believing it was their patriotic duty, who had any sort of semblance of purpose or anything. It makes the American military look incompetent and stupid for being there, and I don't appreciate that side of it. It's
Fair.
not saying everybody needed to be that way, but just like one person, one scene, being that counter. But like
Something to balance it out a little bit.
there was one person who had purpose, and it was the guy who wanted to be a CIA member, and he was the biggest moron in the entire show. So like literal, just like uh, it was very much just one sided in the grander scheme of things. So that side of me I didn't really love. Personally, I had a grandfather who served in Korea, and to see him come home and him live a full life and be proud of what he did, and then have that painted as just blanket bad, it it's not great. Um, I didn't really love how there's a scene where he's handed a pistol and then it's taken away because he served in Massachusetts. And I'm like, military training means something. They wouldn't just like, you get to be unarmed because you didn't fight in an actual war. That to me is insane. He would have had some semblance of respect. I get that he's not active in the military, but the military is a brotherhood, and he wouldn't be shunned out because he didn't serve in an actual war. Um, So I didn't love that portrayal of the military either.
Okay.
Um, I had medium high expectations based on Conlin's review the first time. I, on its own, I'm the one who kind of was like wanting to see this. Conlin watched it, but like I was like, oh, this looks like it could be kind of funny and have some quirky stuff, but have some serious topics. So I would have expected about a 7. Conlin's high review, I would have expected about an 8 for me. I'm gonna give it like a 6.5.
Okay.
It. I'm glad
That's
I
like
watched it.
I watched it, but I'm probably never gonna watch it again, kind of a show.
I'm never gonna watch it again. The historian in me just has like a number of issues with it. And to be fair, there's a lot of really cool, accurate historical stuff, like when they used the tank to blow the hole in the wall. Real thing that happened. Um, I really like how they illuminated the the news people. Um, Conlon said they were just trying to do the best that they could. I don't really agree with that. I felt like they portrayed the news people as trying to be gotcha and anti-war, and they were portrayed that way, and they were actually that way, right? They were only telling one side. They were only telling the American people the bad things that were going on. Um, so it's good. Um, I'm glad I watched it. I won't rewatch it, um, but I'm glad I did.
Okay. Cool. Solid. All right, guys, that's going to be our episode. Next week, we are watching Truth and Treason, so stay tuned. We were going to watch it for this week's episode. We're switching it up a little bit. Hopefully, you guys will watch, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make your tomorrow better than day. Keep going forward. See you guys.